Coach, an efficient game offensively, but maybe some struggles in areas you pointed out with rebounding and some things defensively. Just maybe your overall takeaways from what you saw tonight.
I mean, we have to be way more physical, defensive rebound in the basketball. Way more physical. I mean, defensively, 43%. We'd obviously like our opponents to shoot a lower percentage, but it's not the field goal percentage wasn't the issue. It was the lack of 3-point defense and certainly the lack of physicality. I mean, we're going to be playing against teams that are much bigger, much stronger, much more athletic. And we're not rebounding with any physicality. I mean, it's just not happening other than Mitchell. I mean, he's our one guy that's rebounded with physicality. I thought we were great against Purdue doing it, and have been really bad physically rebounders the last 2 games.
You guys have defended the 3 really well through the preseason.
For 8 years. So,
well, yeah, for 8 years.
Same drills, same everything. Doing the same drills we did when we were number 1 in the country defending the 3. So, got some new guys that have to do a better job. Even Devo, he was a 10 out of 10 the first half guarding their star player. Couldn't have guarded him any better. I mean, it was picture perfect. And then second half, we just go under 2 dribble handoffs and he hits 2 threes. So I don't know. And then our transition defense, matching up to people was abysmal.
A little bit defensively. What about his offensive game tonight? It seemed like
phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, Devo taking care of the ball. Like there's some real positives. Believe it or not. Defending without fouling is something we really worked on. We got the towels out. They had to hold the towels above their head to stop touching people. The fouling was really good. How many foul shots they take? 5. So defending without fouling, A+. Taking care of the basketball. I don't know if I've ever had a team only have 4 turnovers against a high steal team, against a team that plays 4 guards at a time and has great quickness. So taking care of the ball, A+. Defensive rebounding, double F. Transition defense, triple F. Guarding the 3, there's no great. It was so bad. So some good and some very poor.
Kind of like Animal House where Lutarski has no grade point average or whatever.
I guess.
Okay. Hey, you guys did shoot 51% from the field, and you got the ball to the rim pretty good, and you hit threes pretty good. What'd you think of your offense?
I think we're a good offensive team, and we're a team that's got to get better defensively. And, some of our teams have been really good on defense and not very good on offense. So, it's kind of a character, it's hard to be great on both sides of the ball, but we're going to get back and try to become much better defensively.
You guys led for just under 36 minutes. So you led, but I don't know if you're really in control because they just kept making threes and just kind of what did it feel like? Because you have the lead, but they're hanging around. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, we kept getting it to 10 and then you get back to 5 or 6. We didn't separate, and maybe we'd get up 10, give up a transition basket or give up a 3, and then they get a little momentum. They play hard. They play tough. They're probably going to be right there looking at a conference championship. That's why we schedule them. I watched the whole Baylor Gardner-Webb game, and that was a 6-point game until about the 7.5-minute mark. So we're playing some teams that are pretty good. Baylor couldn't separate from Gardner-Webb, like we did. There was no 25-point lead in that game at all. Their biggest lead, I think, was at the end of the game. And Baylor's really good team with a lottery pick, and they're really well coached. So I think the state of college basketball right now is you got to come ready to play. That's why I haven't looked at the score. There's probably an upset tonight too. Like it's every night now, just with the way the transfer portal is. And I mean, this team we just played, I mean, they got a guy that played at Wichita State. They got a guy that played at Oregon. Like this, they just, you know, they're tough to win. University of Miami tonight against Florida International. That was a single digit game too. And Florida International hadn't won. They're 0-3, and Miami's a really good team. So it's just kind of the nature of how it is if you don't come and play for 40 minutes.
He's known for rebounding, defending, but he had 15 tonight. I think that's his most he's scored in 2 seasons. What do you think of his game offensively tonight?
I thought he was awesome. I mean, the one shot he missed was his easiest look. It was the cleanest look he had all night, and he missed it. So really happy that he went 6 of 7 and could have been 7 of 7. He didn't force anything. 10 rebounds. I mean, thank goodness for him and Team Mark defensive rebounding. Nobody, I mean, all of us in the room got as many defensive rebounds as everybody else on the team. So we had 2 guys defensive rebound, and then a bunch of guys do what this room did, which is, you know, none of us did anything. So neither did anybody else defensive rebounding.
L. Ellis tonight, legend scoring, but the 8 assists. And it seems like he was your setup guy on a lot of those 3-point shots, 3 rebounds, no turnovers. What did you think about L's floor game, at least offensively, and then maybe both sides of it?
You know, L's done a really good job, Kevin, of asking for feedback on what we're looking for. You know, I gave him a sheet today of a, you know, the women's coach at Duke had some great quotes about being a point guard and you know, what Pat Summitt had kind of taught her. And I was on the treadmill and circled some stuff and gave it to Elle. And he's a guy that wants to, you know, like he understands, you know, what areas people want to see from him, which is taking care of the ball. And then quite honestly, late game, you know, I mean, we played 3 regular season games, and in this particular game, late game, we went to L. It was him in middle pick and roll to try to get to the basket. You know, we've had another game where we went to T Mark late game. So, you know, the good thing is we're finding some strengths for different people in late game situations or late game packages.
Follow up on something maybe positive on offense. This was a team that's really stingy last year. So far this year, inside the arc, just even how many makes teams get. You guys kind of had your way offensively, both halves, getting inside the arc and getting to the basket and scoring.
Yeah, I think we got really good dribble drive penetration guys. You know, some guys didn't settle. They attacked and got downhill, and, you know, really happy to 29 FTAs. I thought we did a good job, you know, with our free throw attack game off the bounce. We got to convert them better. It's the second game in a row where we haven't done a good enough job converting free throws. Another area that we have to get better at for sure. And I mean, 3 steals that's not enough activity.
Eric, 9 blocks for TB in his last 55 minutes played. What are you seeing for him defensively that's just maybe allowing for that to happen?
Yeah, I mean, he's so long. He's you know, got great anticipation on the ball, great anticipation off the ball. Thought he got lost guarding the 3. I thought 15 Blakely got some good looks on us, and so we got to guard the perimeter and we got to guard the rim as well. But that's hard to have that many blocks.
What do you thought of the way Devo was taking care of the ball so far through 3 games? You feel like that's maybe a major area of improvement for him for this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think just comfortability of what the expectations are. How many turnovers you got in 3 games? Not many players in the country that have played his minutes and had the ball in his hands and had a turnover. I mean, it's phenomenal because, you know, the thing with Devontae is, like, we all know he's got the flair, you know, like he's got some stuff to his game. He's got a bag that he likes to go into. And he's still doing that. You know, he's still making some oh wow plays that get the crowd on their feet, which we want. And he's doing it now a little bit more deliberately with great maturity with the ball in his hands.
You mentioned after the last game that you wanted to maybe get to some lineups with TB playing the 5, and you got there tonight, but only for like a brief while. I think Tremont picked up his 4th foul. Is that a lineup that you're comfortable with in important situations just based off what you've seen in practice, or is it something that you need to work on it in games in order to, become comfortable with?
I think, well, one, when he does it, he's got to really rebound defensively in order for us to do that. If he's not rebounding defensively, it's really hard to do that. If a game calls for us to space the floor out, I certainly think that, TB was 2 of 4 from 3 tonight. And I think it opens up driving angles for sure for other players when he's at the 5. So could be if we are physical enough doing that. Cause I thought about putting him at the 3 tonight too, because, Mitchell was playing good. And I thought about, letting Chandler roll a little bit more, or putting Graham back in and having TB at the 3, but we just never got to that. But that is something maybe we have to look at when we play against bigger teams. We did it against Purdue for a short stretch for sure.
And do you think TB has had this UNC Greensboro game circled on the calendar at all? Just the teamy?
I mean, I hope not. I hope he just, comes out and plays. I think that's always hard for a player, knowing that there was an injury against a certain team, but, UNCG is like, they're good. We were down 5 last year in this game at halftime. The game was a single-digit game. They have a potential all-league player back at center. They have the defensive player of the year in Langley back. They have a first-team all-player in Langley, one of the best three-point shooters in college basketball. And then they have a guy at the small forward spot that's a absolute roper. He had 4 threes against us. So they got some guys back from last year that really, really hurt us. We need to play our best game of the season on Friday. That's for sure.
Coach, you preach stamina and kind of conditioning to us in the preseason. Just first of all, where are y'all in that? And secondly, do you think that contributed to any of the defensive problems tonight?
No, I mean, I didn't think we looked tired. I just thought we didn't follow some of the assignments. But hey, maybe some of you guys thought we looked tired. I didn't feel that way at all. Mark only played 21 minutes, which is, probably, his low. I certainly think Brazil is in good enough condition where his minutes were fine. L played some good minutes, and Devo never gets tired. So, I don't, like if we would have ended the game poorly, then maybe, but I didn't think the end of the game was any different than this. We stunk to start the game. We stunk to start the game. Last game, we stunk to start the half. So something's got to give. You know what I mean? That certainly coming out of the half and starting the game, that didn't have anything to do with conditioning. That just had to do with whatever. And that's our job as a staff, to try to figure out how to get off to better starts. We're at home playing in front of great crowds, and we haven't gotten off to a very good start the last 2 games.
Yeah, 4 guards got 61 points tonight. I know Matt Painter talked about the interchangeable parts, but just how good a quartet or foursome or whatever.
Yeah, really good offensively, and really got to get better in transition defense. I mean, look, as happy as we are, Bob, with our offense, number 13, Caesar, he played 16 minutes and had 18 points against our guards. I mean, credit to Caesar. Like, he wasn't on our scouting report, really. Look at what he's done coming into the game. And he torched us in the backcourt. So we got to get a lot better, because, I mean, number 13's productivity, 8 of 12, 2 for 3, 3 defensive rebounds, plus 12 on the stat sheet, and 18 points. And then their other guard had 21. So our guards have to defend much, much better than what we did tonight.
had 11 in the second half. What'd you think of his game, especially in the second?
Yeah, I
half?
think at halftime we talked about needing more from him in totality, defending, rebounding, shooting, scoring. And I thought TB was very, very good in the second half.
Obviously, tonight's defense was what it was, but big picture, when you look ahead to when you guys are going to face better competition, what are like specific areas that you're like, hey, this is definitely going to be an issue when we face better competition and different types of teams?
Rebounding and physicality. And guarding the ball. That's a lot. Rebounding, physicality, and our perimeter players being able to guard their guy. That's a lot of stuff to be concerned with.
One more on Kai. Has anything clicked with him the last two games, or just matchups, motor? What is it?
Great question, Scotty. This was Kai's best game. This was Kai's best game in everything. This was his best game, body language. This was his best game in timeouts and huddles. This was his best game with his teammates. This was his best game with the coaching staff. And then he played really well too. So hopefully he can keep doing that. You know, I thought that from a maturity standpoint and doing what we needed and doing it with really positive passion, he was really good tonight. Really good. Proud of him.
3 in that big run. Y'all took a 14-point lead.
About time, yeah.
And you got him in pretty early. I know Mark got in foul trouble, but it seemed like he came in for Brazil the first time. What his efficiency hasn't been there yet. Do you think it's just a matter of time before he strings together some makes and some things you're looking for?
Yeah, JD's a great shooter. We see it in practice every day. He's got a great release. You know, I talked to him the other day. Just get your feet set and you know, kind of take your time. The one thing that he's done a really good job of, he's defending better than maybe we thought. He's rebounding. Although tonight, you know, only one, but he's rebounded through the elbows better than any of our guards, which we want our guys to rebound through the elbow from a perimeter standpoint. So defensively, rebounding, intangible stuff, done a better job. Shooting the ball when you got a guy that's a high volume shooter, you can't get in his head. You got to just let him launch and hope he gets hot, which we certainly think he will.
What do the guards have to do specifically to play better defense? The kind of defense you want?
Yeah, you got to keep the ball in front of you. You can't get hit on screens. If you get caught on a screen, you've got to do a much better job rear view mirror contesting. You got to keep your man out of the lane. You can't give up straight line dribble drives. If you give up straight line dribble drives, you give up layups. You can't always expect our bigs to be there to help because we're not great at the rim verticality right now. So we got to get better at that with our bigs, and our guards got to do a better job of I mean, look, we didn't guard the 3 and we didn't guard the dribble drive. Like, it's one thing if you're really like, hey, we shut them down from 3 and we gave up some dribble drives. I mean, they did whatever they wanted.
Guys, you know, have the wherewithal and the skill set and coachability to do.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I hope. I mean, but we haven't gotten, you know, we haven't progressed like we want in the last 2 games defensively. Devo for sure. T-Mark got foul trouble. So T-Mark not being on the floor hurts us defensively because we need his length and athleticism and defensive intensity. Devo was awesome first half defending. So yeah, I think we'll get better. I mean, we're going to keep coaching, keep pointing it out, keep talking about it, keep drilling it.
Omar Kai, he's coming off the bench and he says he just wants to play and produce, and he's getting his minutes. But how do you think he's handled coming off the bench after starting most of the time last year?
Great. I mean, like I said, I think from from an attitude standpoint, he's been great. You know, he really has. He's like I said, I thought tonight was his best. Like if you just look at everything, it was his best job since he's been here.
I guess we're not going to get you like Wednesday or something. Okay. I Well, I guess you talked about what a tough game it was. I mean, I think that Nick had a big game, or else I think you said you guys probably would have lost if Nick hadn't had a big game. Obviously, he lost Trevin. I guess getting back to Trevin for a minute, how important is it for a guy he's physically there? It looks like he's there too, but how important is it that he is mentally okay for this game? That he doesn't have, I don't know, flashbacks or whatever.
I mean, I think he'll be ready to play. I think the thing that, when you talk to like NBA trainers, or if you've been around like the biggest thing that he's done a great job is playing fearless. Like he's dunking the ball, trying to dunk on people. He took a hard foul at the rim tonight, trying to dunk on somebody. If you were, if it was in your head, so to speak, you wouldn't have however many blocks he's had, because, leaving your feet's where the fear might come in, and he leaves his feet a lot.
It's not often you play like a mid-major, get team like Greensboro 2 years in a row. Is that like a 2 for O'Deal, or how do you guys end up playing them back-to-back years?
It was 2 one-year deals. I mean, we feel like they're going to win their league. Coach Ruda studies these guys, and our guys got to step up to the challenge of playing a really good team that's going to come in here with confidence. I mean, so we have to come a little better than we have.
I know the Duke game is kind of an outlier, but Greensboro, Gardner-Webb, UNCW, do you have any connections to North Carolina with all these North Carolina teams in the non-conference, or is it just one of those things this year?
I don't know what Ruda's got going on. We'd have to bring him up to the podium. Thanks.